All right, today we got traits of a top 1% man. We got the whole squad chilling here. This is the first example. Everyone is working, everyone is grinding. Let me show you guys. Look at all of this. Grinding, editing content, grinding, but he's using his laptop.
He's choosing the pictures.
Grinding. So that is the first example of solid traits of top 1% men. Always at work, always grinding, always furthering their lives and trying to get to their goals at all fucking times. There's a group of 5 of us right now. We have not stopped. I'm going to go through the 6 categories that, at least in my mind, all top 1% of men have. And then we'll go from there. I might ask these fuckers some questions later. We'll see. I like to look at it like a pyramid. It starts at the base and you have to build your absolute foundation before you go upwards. And the first building block to that pyramid is you have to get your mental right as a man. You cannot be in the top 1% of men if you do not have a good mentality, if you do not have emotional control, and if you do not have your habits in check. It really comes down to knowing your self-value, having the discipline to be able to get done exactly what you need to get done, and having the emotional control to stay content and keep your cool in every single situation that you can possibly be in. If you have those 3 things in check, then your mental's doing pretty good. So it starts with self-value. If you don't value yourself, then you can't expect other people to value you first. And so if you don't have a good grasp on exactly what kind of morals you have and how you value yourself, then you're not going to be able to get anywhere. So get that right first. Write down exactly what kind of man you are, if you value yourself, what ways you value yourself, and how you can improve. Discipline is extremely important, because if you do not do exactly what you say you're going to do, no matter what emotions you're feeling, no matter what happens during the day, and if you can't count on yourself to keep your word, then how can other people count on you to keep your word as well? Discipline starts at the very, very first part of the day with your morning routine. Now, this is not going to be a take cold showers kind of talk, but all 1% men have a mental routine. They don't just roll out of bed and scroll TikTok every single day and then hopefully they make money that day. So you have to build out your morning routine, but in order to do that, you have to understand what your goals are first. Where are you going? Where do you want to direct your day? So if you haven't taken the time to actually write out your goals, whether it's on a daily basis, a monthly basis, a 6-month basis, an annual basis, or just goals in life, if you haven't taken that time for yourself, then you have no idea where you're going. So how are you supposed to drive the car without crashing? And that's the kind of discipline that has to be in place in order for you to stick to those goals. So close your eyes and visualize exactly what you want in terms of every single category in your life. Family, relationships, physical things. What do you want? Past just the Rolex, right? What do you actually want at the end of the day? Who do you want to be with? Where do you want to be? Do you want to be on the beach? Do you want to be in the mountains? Do you want to have a supercar? Do you want to have a log cabin in the woods? Do you want a huge family? Do you want a small family? What are your goals? Where are you going? Where are you driving this train? Do you want to have a sexy Latina to your left or a sexy blonde to your right? Like, these are all things that you need to visualize realistically. Maybe both. I don't know. It's up to you. Envision the fire pits, the pets, literally all of it. And write all of it down. Literally write all of it down. Because if it's on paper, then it becomes real. It's no longer just a thought in your mind. And then you can form the discipline that is needed in order to get to those goals. So that's the absolute first step. Now, after you figure that out, you have to figure out why you actually want these things. So really dig deep. Do you just want the Rolex because it looks cool and that's what people are doing on Instagram? Diego's shaking his head yes. Or do you actually want the Rolex because it's something that you've always wanted and it signifies, the mental discipline and physical discipline that it took to actually get there, and that's your reward mechanism? That's completely okay. It's up to you, but figure out to yourself and be honest with yourself, why do you actually want to get to these goals? And take the time you need to process this question. The last thing that you need to be honest with yourself about is, are you okay with not reaching those goals? Or what happens if you don't reach those goals? What kind of life do you live if you don't? If you go with the quote, you shoot the stars and hit the moon, like, what happens on the moon that didn't get achieved on the stars? Are you okay with landing on the moon? These are all things you have to think about, because it's a realistic possibility that you won't hit your goals unless you actually have everything in line and in place and disciplined and you get there. And in order to get to that point, you have to visualize what happens if you don't, to motivate you. So take the time to realistically think about that. Now, after you've done all of this, you've just got done figuring out what exactly you want in life, why you want these things, or people, or places, and what happens or how you feel if you don't get to these things. If that's a negative, if you're going to feel shitty, if you haven't got to those things, if that's what you wrote down, good. It's time to take accountability, it's time to take discipline for yourself and achieve these goals. The last thing that you need to do in this exercise is be completely honest with yourself and analyze your daily habits. Spend the time to say, what did you do yesterday? Not just, oh, I got some work done. Like literally down to the half hour, the 15 minutes, the minute. What did you do yesterday? How much time did you waste? What are your daily habits? And after you've written all them out, figure out if those habits are going to get you to your goals. So if you want the Lambo, if you want the Rolex, if you want the Latina and the blonde both, are you going to get to those goals if you're spending hours upon hours per day playing video games, scrolling TikTok, not knowing where you're going? Like, be honest. And if the answer is no, these habits are not going to get me to the goals that I have, then you have things to change. And that's just the fact of the matter. And that's what top 1% men do, because they understand where they want to go and they don't let anything get in the way of that. They don't let video games get in the way of that. And it's okay to do these things. Sometimes it's fine, but you have to envision your future and know exactly where you want to go. So once you're done with that, make a new routine. Figure out exactly what you're going to do every single day, what does coincide with what you need to do in order to reach those goals, and then do it. Commit to that for the next 1,000 days. Do you realistically think that if you commit to every single thing that you need to do, that you determine you need to do in order to reach those goals for the next 1,000 days, that you're not going to at least get 50 to 80% there? 3 years is a long time if you put full dedication towards something. So actually take the time to figure all this stuff out and be very regimented with it. Be dexterous. Be very regimented with it. And so that's why I mentioned the morning routine, because it all starts in the morning once you wake up. Do you wake up and scroll TikTok, or do you wake up, do 25 push-ups, get sun on your face, and make your bed? Now, you don't have to do all of these things, but these are, or they tend to be, attributes that top 1% men have, because they're very on top of their shit, they're sharp, they're professional, they know exactly what to do at every moment of the day because they planned it out the day before. If you don't know where you're going, you can't drive the car. I keep saying this. So now you know your own self-value. You know what you need to do in order to get to your goals, and you're going to stay disciplined in order to get there. And then the third thing that you need to have is emotional control to keep you on that path. Because if you let external factors affect your mood, your mental, then it's going to throw you off. You have to be in the driver's seat at all times. No matter what happens. No matter what emotions these crazy people in this world have, you're the one in the driver's seat. Plain and simple. If you're not, then you have work to do on yourself, on your mind, and developing your mind. Envision your goals and figure out exactly what you want, and don't let anyone come into this bubble that you've created to ruin or throw you off of your path. After you've gotten on top of your mentality and you have that locked down, it's important to get on top of your physicality. And for all of these things that I'm going to list, you can do them at the same time, but these are the absolute foundational building blocks that you need to have in order to get to this at the end of the day. So in order to get on top of your physicality, you need to do two things. One, start lifting heavy stones. Start lifting heavy shit and pushing it away from you and pulling it towards you on a day-to-day basis, and get consistent with it. Maybe throw some sprints or short cardio in there if you can. And learn how to fight. Become dangerous. Become capable. These two things will take you farther if you're on top of your mentality than focusing on the money first will get you. And the reason for that is because if you actually have the right mentality, then you will stay committed to the gym, and you will stay committed to training, and you will become dangerous and capable, and you will naturally become more confident. And that confidence will spur the success in other areas. You can't focus on the money first. If you focus on the money first, then even if you do get the money, you will have done the whole thing backwards. Because once you have the money, you're not going to go back and learn to fight, unless you're Mark Zuckerberg, apparently. He's becoming quite dangerous. You've seen those videos? He's trying to stay awake. Get a coffee.
I will, but I will.
So this is why these things stack on each other. First thing is on top of your mentality. Then you get on top of your physicality. You start to get big. You start to get confident. You start to become respected by external people. I mean, realistically, if you have the same exact business deal to make with two people, one is sitting in a chair and he's a fat fuck, and he's offering you the same exact percentage as guy number 2, and guy number 2 is sitting there, very professional, he's jacked, and you know he has the respect for himself to stay in the gym, then you're going to do business with guy number 2 every single time because of that inherent respect that you have for them. And you're going to respect him in 2 scenarios. Number 1, if he's more jacked than you, then you're going to respect him because he's more jacked than you and he put in more work than you and you know it subconsciously. It's just ingrained in our animalistic minds. Or 2, if he's as jacked as you, then you know the hard work that it took in order for him to get to that point. So you respect him inherently. So you fix your mentality, you have emotional self-control, you got in the gym, you know how to fight, you know how to become capable, you're strong, you look sexy in white shirts. The third thing you have to do is clean up your environment. It's extremely important. And I separate this into 2 categories. 1, your location, and 2, your personal circle of people that you surround yourself with. If you're in a shitty location, in a shitty apartment that's dripping from the back, and you are super uncomfortable, there's muskrats, there's cockroaches, how can you expect to be as productive as someone who's living in a very nice kept penthouse with maids that come every single day? You're going to be extremely more productive in that environment. How can you expect to be more productive in your hometown, in your homeroom that you grew up in, or near your family, near that comfortability? How can you expect to be more productive than you could be if you were with a bunch of killers, surrounding yourself in a different environment, in a different city, outside of your comfort zone, when your back's against the wall? You're always going to be more productive 100% of the time if you actually take that scenario seriously. I mentioned surrounding yourself with killers. That's extremely, extremely important, because you can be by yourself in a different city and get lost. You have no idea where you're going, the bills are stacking up, you feel lonely, you're out of your comfort zone. But if you're with killers and you're pushing each other in every single aspect of life, then it's going to form an upward spiral, and you're going to become ultimately successful with the people that you're growing with instead of by yourself, because you're bouncing off of each other's energy. So cut out all the shitty people in your life, write down every single friend that you have, or at least the top 5 or 10, write down the value they give you and what they contribute to your life. Be honest, no one's going to see it except for you. Write down their initials if you want. And then at the end, say, is being friends or spending time or giving energy to this person going to get me to those goals that I wrote down for the mental part of this? Yes or no? You have to choose one. And it might be tough because you might have been friends with these people forever and ever and ever, and they're fun to be around and they're fun to hang out around. You've been friends with Joe Schmo since high school and you used to smoke weed with him all the time, and it's been so many good experiences. But realistically, like, you have to take control of your life now. You're cleaning it up, you're being sharp, you have your goals. Is smoking weed with Joe Schmo going to get you to your goals? Yes or no? Be honest with yourself. Diego says no. Don't smoke weed with Joe Schmo.
Why not?
She says, why not?
Joe Schmo's got a small dick. Yeah, but why can't I smoke with him? My dick is big enough for the both of us.
Pause. So you've cleaned up your personal circle. You're in an extremely good environment, productive to get work done that's going to get you to your goals. We've gone through the mental, the physical, the environment. What's next is the social. Get on top of the social aspects of your life. I break this up into 3 different sections. It's going to be professionalism, body language, and fashion. You have to dress well. I'd call that hygiene. It's part of hygiene. Now, professionalism is easy, but you have to be very conscious about it. Have you ever been late? And if so, why? Why didn't you set your alarm earlier? Why didn't you take control over the time? Why didn't you plan it out? Why didn't you plan for traffic? Why didn't you take the time to be prepared for every single extraneous circumstance that could happen or could prevent you from being on time? That's professionalism. When you're giving directions in a car, do you wait till the last second and just say, hey, like turn right up here? Or are you very succinct with the directions that you give? Hey bro, in 100 meters, you're going to be taking a right on XYZ North Street. I'll tell you when it's coming up. That is professionalism. You should always be on, 100% of the time, be on. When you're around other people, you have to be professional and sharp because that's how these people operate. You wanted to be a man in the top 1% because you clicked on this video and you're still here, be always on 100% of the time. There's no room for error. Don't be late. Don't make typos. Don't moan or complain. Sticking to your habits is professional. Emotional control is professional. Cleaning up your environment is professional. Making sure that the people you surround yourself are congruent for you getting to your goals, that's professionalism. So stay sharp, stay professional, and lock it in because we're trying to be in the top 1%. Now for body language, I'll say one thing. Learn how to fight. And I've learned this directly from people with extreme influence. If you learn how to fight, like we mentioned in the physical section, you'll become naturally more confident and you'll know your capabilities. So if someone steps to you, you'll know exactly what you are capable of. And your body language will naturally be set in that way. If you know how to fight, you'll always be ready. You'll always be prepared. Nothing will ever take you for surprise. And because of that, you'll always be aware of your surroundings. Your body language will be good. Right now, I'm relaxed. I'm chilling. Sit up in your chair right now. Be aware of your body language. Be aware that your spine is tilted and that you're not sitting up. You're not being professional. Now you're chilling right now, but it's the concept. Legitimately, stop right now. What are you doing? Are you sitting? Are you standing? Is your spine straight? Are you locked in? Are you scrolling your phone? What does your body language look like? Besides for just learning how to fight, for a general concept of body language, there are a few things you can hone in on. Eye contact, posture, and positive energy. Legitimately, energy is most of body language. If you're a confident person, you'll come off confident. If you're a shy person, you'll come off shy and you'll be slouched. If you're a happy person, you'll come off happy. If you're a sad person, you'll come off sad and angry. Like this is just, it all comes from the energy that stems within you. And if you've done everything right up to this point, you should have great energy flowing through your body, pushing you to success every single day. Also, keep track of the way that you smile and when you smile, because that affects your energy, like I said. So if you force yourself to smile, you'll force that energy and you'll force that boost in body language and posture and confidence. And keep track of your movement as well. As you move, as you switch, where you're sitting, where you're changing. Speaking of body language, switching here. The next one comes down to fashion. And again, this is all just energy. If you dress like a bum, if you dress shitty, then that's the energy you're going to carry throughout the day. It's pretty impossible to be in a shitty mood if you get out of bed and put on a suit, because you know how good you look. Money, I won't stay on too long either. That could be a whole talk of its own. But stay on top of your finances. If you've done everything up to this point, you're on top of your mentality, you're on top of your physicality, you're on top of your environment, your social status, then the money should come naturally at this point. It should come naturally to you. Opportunities should just open themselves up to you because you're confident. You're putting yourself in these situations, and you should just be winning in life, and that will reflect itself inside of your bank account. The one thing that I will say is learn how to sell. You don't have to learn how to sell a product. At the very least, learn how to sell so you can sell yourself at any point in time. It should come naturally to some of you, to others maybe not. But if you know how to sell, then you'll always be selling yourself, and that will open up the opportunities that will make you the money, whether you're selling or not. All top 1% of men are selling either something or selling themselves. They all know how to sell. This is the concept of social dynamics that has existed since the beginning of time. So at this point, we've built our foundation with 3 blocks on the bottom: mental, physical, environmental. The 2 in the middle, social and money. And the one at the top is women. Now, the women and the money can be interchanged, but I just want to give you a visualization in the form of a pyramid. The women and the money, they come later, after you've focused on everything else in your life. So now it's important to master your dating aesthetic. At this point, you should be confident, so it should be easy to network with people. So now you just have to network with women. That's all it is. And the best way to do that is through cold approach, hands down. You don't really need to be on the dating apps. I mean, if you want to, you can, but just know you're going to get the lower quality of women on the dating apps. If you see a beautiful girl on the street, go talk to her. And that's going to boost your status. Because if you roll up in a business setting with a smoking hot girlfriend, Latina on the left, blonde on the right, both, you're going to get the business deal. Trust. They have power. They have some sort of magical energy about them that other people envy when you're the one that has it. If you walk in a room with two women that people know are not escorts, they're not prostitutes, you're not paying for them, they're literally just attracted to you and a part of your life, then the value that they're going to be giving you subconsciously is going to boost your status in that room more than any other man. Whether or not they have more money than you, whether or not they're more fit than you, or have more muscle than you, having the ability to have lots of women is essentially the peak of what men want to attain, at least masculine men. It's literally ingrained in our biology. It's coded in our DNA to want to have as many women as possible. That's why it's very, very easy for men to be called players when they have multiple women, and vice versa when women have multiple partners on that way. So getting a woman is a challenge that you have to overcome as a man. And if you've overcome that challenge with a smoking hot blonde to your right, let alone the Latina to your left, you're going to be respected because you overcame that challenge, and it was a very, very hard challenge. It was a high quality challenge, so you must have something of lots of value. Inherently, they're going to know that. Subconsciously, they're going to know that. So they're going to respect you, and it's going to open up business opportunities. If you have two, and you can juggle that and handle that, or maybe even three, then that's going to boost your social status in the eyes of the people around you more than any number in your bank account. Now, I'm not saying that all top 1% men have to have multiple women. This is, a different concept for a different day. But what I am saying is they at least have the ability to be able to get there. It's like some very influential people have said, if you're a crypto dork and you just made $1 million off of the Joe Biden meme coin, and then you hop out of a Lambo, but you're a skinny little dork, then people still aren't going to respect you. They're going to know you're still a dork that just got lucky playing the lottery. But if someone who's jacked, looks confident, looks clean kept, sharp, professional, hops out of the Lambo, then people are going to understand, okay, this guy has his shit together. What does he do? Is he a multimillionaire business owner? Is he a drug dealer? What the fuck does this guy do? So yeah, essentially, if you have mastery over all 6 of those categories, you're going to be in at least the top 10%, and you can hone them in from there to become in the top 1%. And the way that I look at all of these categories is on a slider. So first, you turn up the mental slider all the way to 100. And then once you have that unlocked, you turn it down a little bit and turn the physical slider all the way up, and then the environmental slider. And you can take away from the other sliders as you want to boost the other ones. It's like building a video game character. And whatever you need to focus on at that point in your life, whatever is lacking at that point, you can just turn up that slider and you can focus on that. So yeah, essentially if you have mastery over all 6 of those categories, you will be in the top 1% of men, because you have your mental on point, you have your physical on point, your environmental on point, your social status will be high, you'll be making racks, and you'll have all the women that you want and desire. So at the end of the day, what other categories are there? And listen, I'm still working on this myself, as are all of the other men in this universe that actually want something and are striving for something. And even the top 1% men now in the world are working on this themselves actively, because they're honing it in and they want to keep that spot. So start at the very, very basics, write out your goals, figure out what you want out of this life, and then build up to there. And once you figure that out, you'll be able to build up to exactly where you want to be and accomplish everything you want to accomplish. So hone in on those aspects of your life, and I'm excited to watch your guys' journey. If I follow you on Instagram, I'll be able to see it firsthand. Feel free to shoot me a message if you want me to go in depth onto any more of these topics. This is just what I've learned in my life and what I've seen firsthand from the social networks that I've been exposed to, and the environments that I've been in my life, the people I've networked with. So talk to you guys tomorrow.